and welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, Yatin, today the markets took a U-turn after making a fresh high in early trade. In fact, the Nifty clocked a fresh record of 19,523 or thereabouts. But towards midday, the market shaved off all the gains, and we now slipped below that 19,400 mark. In fact, we closed somewhere around 19,330 or thereabouts. If you look at the Sensex, a 500-point plunge coming in there, and even the mid and small cap indices were down anywhere between 8/10 to 1%. And if you look at the sectoral movers, mostly all the sectors were in the red, but towards the end of the session we saw a very smart uptick coming in on Tata Motors that that pulled the Nifty auto index out of losses, and that index managed to end in the green. So if you look at sectoral movers, PSU banking index was in the red in the morning, but it managed to stage a comeback and ended higher by about 1% or thereabouts. Media was one pocket that was up 3.5% on the back of a strong rally in shares of Z Entertainment. On the losing end, you had the likes of Adani Ports, Apollo Hospital, Power Grid, IndusInd Bank and Britannia. So Nifty FMCG pack wasn't doing all that well. In fact, Nifty Realty Index also was among the top sectoral losers. Among the gainers, as I mentioned, Tata Motors. We'll let you know about why there was such a strong rally in the second half of the session. Titan on the back of a very strong update for the first quarter. M&M extending gains from yesterday. SBI Life, SBI were among the other movers in trade. But Yatin, on the mid-cap front, we saw liquor shares coming under pressure. Yeah. What was the reason behind that?
We had the Karnataka government, the new Congress government there announced some changes in the excise duty structure, wherein the IMFL excise duty rates were moved up by 20%. IMFL is Indian-made foreign liquor. And if you talk about beer, there also the excise duty was hiked by 10%. So in all, a very high portion of liquor gets produced and consumed in Bangalore, because of which companies like United Spirits, United Breweries, the likes of Som Distilleries, which is supplying beer in the state of Karnataka, were languishing in trade. So across the board, because of this excise duty hike, there was some sentimental issue as far as all of these liquor stocks are concerned. And United Spirits as well as United Breweries are headquartered in Bangalore, meaning most of their plants and operations run from that state. So yes, they enjoy a very high market share, and hence the impact was felt in all of these stocks.
All right, on that note, let's take a look at what the stocks are on our radar this afternoon. Yatin, let me start with Olectra Greentech. Now, this stock was up 13% or thereabouts, and rightly so, given the fact that it has bagged a massive 10,000 crore rupee order from the Maharashtra government for 5,150 electric buses. Remember, this company came into the spotlight after it inked a pact with Reliance Industries back in February for a hydrogen bus. That was the time when it started rallying, and in fact on a YTD basis, it is in fact the stock has literally doubled. If you look at the market cap of this company, I think it's somewhere around 9,000 crore rupees, and interestingly, this order book, this order worth 10,000 crore surpasses its market cap as well. If you look at the company's sales for FY23, it stood at somewhere around 1,100 crore rupees or thereabouts. But given the fact that analysts believe that this is a very good play on electric mobility and the kind of orders that it has been bagging, looks like the road ahead for this company is pretty upbeat. And this is one stock that has been on a gaining spree ever since February.
Absolutely, and the electric bus vehicle is a very large business, and Olectra has been a key supplier to the Maharashtra government earlier also. The other stock on our radar is Tata Motors. Now, Tata Motors declared their JLR wholesale numbers, wherein we had seen a very strong growth. More importantly, Tata Motors in the press release mentioned that the first quarter free cash flow for JLR would be close to 400 million British pounds, which means that in a lean quarter, if they are able to make a free cash flow of 400 million pounds, then the full year guidance of $2 billion is something which could be met quite easily. In fact, the analysts were encouraged with this free cash flow number. More importantly, the company also said that demand for its key products remains quite strong, be it the Range Rover Sport or Evoque. All of the models including Defender are doing well, and the order book also remains healthy. So post that Tata Motors statement on the free cash flow and the JLR strong performance, we had the stock which closed at the day's high and also more importantly at record highs.
Right, the stock of Tata Motors, of course, in top gear, given the fact that it has comfortably, cruised past that 600 mark on the stock as well. Yatin, I also want to quickly talk about Titan. That was among the top gainers in today's session. Shares, of course, have been hitting 52-week highs on a regular basis now. It has come up with its first quarter update, 20% growth in overall sales, a double-digit growth in all the consumer-facing businesses. In fact, jewelry division grew somewhere around 20%. Important to note that, Akshaya Tritiya sales and wedding season sales, of course, have aided top line growth. And if you look at the watches segment, that on a quarter-on-quarter basis has slipped somewhere around 2%. So that may have been a little bit of a dampener. But aside of that, nothing to complain about when it comes to Titan. It has added somewhere around 68 stores in the quarter gone by. If you look at the brokerage rate views on the stock, Morgan Stanley has a buy rating, in fact overweight rating, target price at 3,200 rupees. Goldman Sachs has a buy rating with a target price of 3,175 rupees a share. The stock is trading at over 58 times its estimated FY25 EPS, even though it's a little expensive. But given the fact that the stock has gained somewhere around 23% on a YTD basis, looks like in the future as well, things will pick up for Titan going forward.
Yes, and the Akshaya Tritiya sales have been quite good for other jewelry players as well. In fact, the stock of Kalyan Jewellers are also up in trade today along with other jewelry companies. Now, talking about the auto space once again, we have the Ministry of Road Transport, which has announced a draft policy regarding air conditioning trucks, and there have been certain specifications for which there will be air conditioning which will be available for truck and truckers. This is quite important because the ministry is concerned regarding road safety and the well-being of the drivers. Also, we have seen a lot of the new age truck already have ventilation and air conditioning system, but if the government makes this mandatory, companies like Subros would stand to gain, because Subros is probably the only listed play which is into vehicle air conditioning. Obviously, they need to have a bigger scale when it comes to commercial vehicles, and it's also about the government by when do they want this air conditioning to be made mandatory. Obviously, the draft paper is in the public domain, but yes, companies with future potential looks like Subros would stand to gain with this particular ministry notification, and it has been long due. It has been a global practice, but now I think the government also feels that we need to get this global practice back in India. And on the back of this news, Subros stock surged by nearly 5.5% in trade.
Interestingly, I think Nitin Gadkari had made, Road and Highway Minister Nitin Gadkari had made a mention about it some month back or something, and since then the stock has gained somewhere around 30%, Yatin.
Yeah.
Well, so that was the stock, those were the stocks rather on our radar this afternoon. With that, I think we've come to the end of this edition of Closing Bell. Well, it's a good weekend ahead, so enjoy the weekend. But for the week, the Nifty, even though it was a record-setting spree that the Nifty saw, but we ended the week on a pretty flattish note. But with that, it's a wrap from us. So thanks a lot for watching. If you have any comments, send them in to us on the comment section below. But thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.